And that is exactly the breaking news that we are getting this minute. It's a big development in the Ayodhya hearing on day 38 of the hearing that continues in the Supreme Court on the Ayodhya case, as Muslim party's lawyer Rajeev Dhawan is demanding that the masjid should be restored. They demand masjid be restored to what it was before the 5th of December 1992. Straight away cutting across to our legal correspondent Nalini, would be able to give us more details. Nalini, what exactly happened in court and the kind of arguments that were put forth by Rajeev Dhawan?
Well, Sriisha, as of this moment, the latest coming in is that the bench has risen for lunch and that the arguments will be expected to be continued after lunch. But just before the bench was about to rise for lunch, some very dramatic arguments have been made by Rajeev Dhawan, who was arguing for the Supreme Court before the five-judge bench. He's come forth and stated that the court and the entire country cannot ignore the fact that 1992 happened and that this hearing cannot take place under the assumption as if 1992, the events of 1992 never actually happened. It is in that reference that Rajeev Dhawan has come forth and stated that the ownership that the Muslim parties are claiming over this disputed piece of land on the masjid should be restored back in the same condition as it was on the 5th of December 1992, which was one day before the Babri Masjid had actually been demolished. That is a claim that is now being made by the Sunni Waqf Board in the last leg of arguments happening before the five-judge bench. Shortly after this argument was made, the bench has risen for lunch. So we can expect further arguments to be continued only post-lunch right now. But a big statement coming in from the lawyer for the Sunni Waqf Board, Rajeev Dhawan. He stated that it cannot be ignored that 1992, the events of 1992 actually took place. And he's also making a claim for the masjid to be restored exactly in the same condition as it was a day before the demolition took place.
This is crucial, Nalini, because let's also understand that we are in the last leg of the arguments that are continuing in this case, and 17th is when all these arguments are set to be concluded. So how would you perceive with the way the arguments are continuing now?
Well, absolutely, Suresh. It is the last leg of the arguments. The rejoinder arguments are happening right now, which essentially means that the Muslim sides are responding to whatever the Hindu sides have brought forth during the course of the arguments. Earlier today, we'd also seen Rajeev Dhawan actually question the five-judge bench and state that during the course of the arguments of the Hindu side, there were no questions posed by the five-judge bench to them. Instead, all of the questions were directed towards the Hindus, towards the Muslim side, I beg your pardon. That is exactly the same kind of argument that is going on even right now before the five-judge bench. Rajeev Dhawan essentially is trying to establish the claim of the Muslim parties on this disputed piece of land in this last leg of the hearing. 17th October is when the arguments are all set to be completed before the Supreme Court Constitution Bench. Hopefully all of the parties in this case will actually resort to that timeline and stick to that timeline and ensure that all the arguments are completed before the 17th of October, because that leaves the Supreme Court five-judge bench with exactly 1 month or 4 weeks' time to go forth and complete writing the judgment on this entire long-standing dispute. So yes, it's the last leg. Everything that the counsel and the lawyers say right now before the five-judge bench extremely crucial to establish their claim over the disputed land, and that's exactly what Rajeev Dhawan is doing by stating that it cannot be ignored that the events of 1992 actually happened, and also asking for the masjid to be restored in its original condition.
Vishnu Shankar Jain of the VHP is now joining us on the phone line, and मैं सीधा आपके पास आना चाहूंगी. जिस तरह के आर्गुमेंट्स अभी पेश की जा रही हैं मुस्लिम ग्रुप्स की तरफ से, राजीव धवन कह रहे हैं कि बाबरी मस्जिद उसी तरह से बनना चाहिए जिस तरह से था दिसंबर 5, 1992 से पहले. आपका क्या कहना है इस बारे में?
देखिए, हमारा तो यही कहना है ना कि जो विध्वंस से पहले जो बाबर ने डिमोलिश किया था बाबरी राम मंदिर को, वो पोजीशन रिस्टोर होनी चाहिए. यही तो केस है हिंदुओं का सुप्रीम कोर्ट के सामने और इलाहाबाद हाई कोर्ट के सामने कि बाबर ने 1528 में जो वहां पे भव्य मंदिर को गिराया और वहां पे मस्जिद का निर्माण किया, उसको पहले रेस्टोर करना चाहिए. और मुस्लिम्स का जो केस है सूट नंबर 4, उसमें उन्होंने खुद ही लिखा है, वो अपना टाइटल क्लेम कर रहे हैं बाबर के आधार पे कि बाबर ने वहां पे मंदिर गिराई और वहां मस्जिद बनाई, इसलिए वहां पे उनका राइट है. तो यही बात तो हमारा भी कहना है. अगर रेस्टोरेशन होना तो पहले मंदिर का रेस्टोरेशन होना.
All right, Vishnu Shankar Jain, thank you so much for talking to Republic this afternoon.